Arnold Boyd family reunion, and welcome to Savannah, Georgia. It is our great honor to host virtually this next family reunion. And what an appropriate site to begin this journey, the site of the African American Monument, which is the first monument on riverfront to honor African Americans. On these shores, as you look at the water, there is so much history. Because, as Maya Angelou says in her poem, there were many of our people from Africa who were walking these shores. We will give you some highlights of other places of interest in Savannah, and we hope one day that you will come and join us.
The First African Baptist Church is the oldest black church in North America, organized in 1773 before America was organized in 1776. It was a site of the Underground Railroad. Pinpoint Heritage Museum celebrates the life, history, and culture of the Gullah Geechee community. United States Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is from this community. The Haitian Monument in Franklin Square in Savannah honors the largest unit of men of African descent who were recruited from present-day Haiti to serve in the Revolutionary War, the War of Independence for America.
I sit here on the banks of the Savannah corridor, which leads miles into the Atlantic Ocean. We must remember that many of our ancestors lie at the banks of these waters.
Savannah is rich in African American history and heritage, both filled with triumph and tragedy. The largest slave sale in Georgia history, known as the Weeping Time, occurred March 2nd and 3rd, 1859, near Savannah. To satisfy his creditors, Pierce M. Butler sold 436 men, women, and children from his Butler Island and Hampton plantations near Darien, Georgia. The breakup of families and the loss of home became part of African American heritage, remembered as the Weeping Time. This event was reported extensively in the Northern press, and reaction to the sale deepened the nation's growing sectional divide in the years immediately preceding the Civil War. A marker dedicated to this event was on March 3rd, 2008, 149 years after the slave auction occurred, in a commemoration ceremony by then Mayor Otis Johnson, only the second African American to hold that office.
The Savannah Cotton Exchange building was completed in 1887 during the year when Savannah ranked first as a cotton seaport on the Atlantic and second in the world. In its heyday as a cotton port, over 2 million bales a year moved through Savannah. The cotton exchange was the center of activity in the staple which dominated the city's economic life before its evolution into a leading industrial seaport.
The Ralph Mark Gilbert Civil Rights Museum catalogs the civil rights movement in Savannah and houses the papers of Dr. Gilbert, who was one of the founders of the NAACP in Savannah, and the papers of W.W. Law, a local civil rights attorney. This marker tells the history of emancipation and Special Field Order Number 15. On January 12, 1865, U.S. Secretary of War Edward Stanton and General William Sherman met at the home of Charles Greene with 20 leaders from Savannah's African American churches. The meeting resulted in Sherman's issue of Special Field Order Number 15, which incurred the enlistment of free men and also reserved coastal land from Charleston, South Carolina to Florida's St. Johns River for settlement by freed families in 40 acres tract. The Freedmen's Bureau Act of March 1865 formalized this agreement. However, after President Lincoln's death, President Andrew Johnson revoked Special Field Order Number 15, hampering efforts by African Americans to gain economic independence and emancipation, thus ending the concept of 40 acres and a mule. Laurel Grove Cemetery was organized in 1850. It was Laurel Grove North for white burials and Laurel Grove South, founded in 1852 for former slaves and free blacks. It has one of the largest cemeteries for former slaves in the Savannah area.
Famed River Street, which runs along the Savannah River. This has been the center of commerce and industry since the founding of Savannah. In the background, you can see the domed first chapel of Georgia here at Savannah. Also, through these cobbled streets and up these byways and alleyways, many of the former slaves were led to their destination on plantations, both in Georgia and South Carolina and other parts of the slave states.
We welcome the Glenn Boyd McConnell family's reunion virtually to Savannah, Georgia, and hope that one day you will be able to visit in person after this pandemic is over. Savannah, Georgia is rich in African American history, culture, traditions, the Gullah Geechee culture, historic churches, museum, riverboat history, and I hope that one day you can come to be a part of this great American history. Again, welcome Glenn Boyd McConnell reunion virtually to Savannah.